Hey everyone, and welcome to our 2021-22 Upper Deck the Cup checklist breakdown. Today we are going to be going over everything you need to know about 2021-22 Upper Deck the Cup, and it'll be a little bit of a different video from what we've done in the past, but let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comment section below. Essentially, we're just going to be going through, seeing what teams are good, what teams are bad, kind of providing some fun facts along the way, and yeah, so without further ado, let's get right into the video, and we're starting off at the team tiers, and I'll get into the numbers behind the team tiers after this, but we're going to give the team tiers for now. So in A tier, we have the Anaheim Ducks, Detroit Red Wings, LA Kings, and Montreal Canadiens. These are all teams that are very consistent and have high-end potential. In terms of like hit percentage and card percentage, Anaheim, Detroit, and LA all are kind of in the top tier of that. Montreal's a little bit lower. However, they have just the best rookie in the product in Cole Caulfield. So you have to put them in A tier because that's going to be the most valuable card. It's also worth noting that all of these teams have rookie patch autos out of 99. Anaheim has Zegras as their out of 99 rookie patch auto. Detroit has Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider, and LA has Quinton Byfield, and obviously again Montreal has Caulfield. But I would also note that Anaheim actually has Mason McTavish as a rookie auto, and then an exquisite rookie patch auto, as well as Jamie Drysdale as an RPA. Both will have some upside, and I actually think McTavish is probably the better player between him and Zegras. He's just not as flashy yet, but I really think he's going to be kind of the better of the two. Into B tier, we have the Boston Bruins, the Colorado Avalanche, the Edmonton Oilers, the Florida Panthers, New Jersey Devils, Ottawa Senators, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leaf, and Vegas Golden Knights. Out of all of these teams, I think Edmonton's the one that's going to shock you the most because while they have a relatively low card and hit percentage, more of their cards, like I think 90%, it's close to 90%, are either Hall of Fame players or McDavid, Draisaitl, or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So you're looking at getting an extremely good card if you hit with them. And they're kind of like middle of the pack in terms of both card percentage and I guess a little bit lower on hit percentage. But given how good their quality is, they're going to be a valuable team. They're going to be the biggest boomer bust team, but odds are if you're hitting with them, you're getting something pretty sick. And I think the other main player that you'll see from them is Ryan McLeod, who's not the worst to get. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. But yeah, in terms of the Bruins, you have a bunch of Hall of Fame players, and then you also have Jeremy Swayman as your main rookie patch auto that you're looking after. Bruins and Original Six teams are normally fairly strong in any single the Cup product just because there is a lot of legend content and a lot of the legends have played for the Original Six teams, so you typically see them get a bit of a boost. In terms of the Colorado Avalanche, they're kind of like mid-tier or upper tier for both card percentage and hit percentage. Your main rookie patch auto that you're looking for is probably Alex Newhook just because he went to the Habs and it's going to be valuable. The Florida Panthers actually have an out of 99 rookie patch auto in Spencer Knight, and then they also have Anton Lundell as an out of 249 rookie patch auto. I quite like Anton Lundell's game. I think he actually probably might be the more valuable of the two rookies, and Florida actually has a really high card percentage and hit percentage. It's just the rest of their checklist is a little bit weaker. Like you've got Huberdeau, a little bit of Barkov, and some other players in there. So it kind of, you're more likely to get cards with them than a lot of teams. However, your odds of getting that like supremely good top hit is a little bit lower, which is kind of why they're in the B tier. They could be in between A and B, but I went with B just because their top end, like their pure upside, I think is a little bit just not as high as the other teams. So moving on to the New Jersey Devils, they're a team that's kind of, again, in the top 10 in card percentage and hit percentage, and quality is actually pretty good there as well. Dawson Mercer's had a slow season, but he's still a very good hockey player, I think, and he's probably going to be one of the more valuable out of 249 rookie patch autos. And then you have Alexander Holtz in there as well, who is a high draft pick, and he'll have some value there. In terms of a team that's got a lot of quantity, it is the Ottawa Senators. They are actually, again, one of the top teams in card percentage, but where their problem is just in the terms of overall quality of the checklist is a little bit lower. But the main thing to note with the Senators is that you still have a decent out of 249 rookie patch auto in Shane Pinto. Yes, he is suspended for a little bit from the gambling issues, but I think they're still a team that if you're looking to just pick up a value team, they're probably going to be a little bit cheaper than those A tier teams, but you're likely going to get some cards with them, and you do have a tiny bit of upside there. Next up is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're kind of middle of the pack with everything, maybe slightly higher on the card percentage and hit percentage side of things, but they also have Ross Colton as an out of 249 rookie patch auto, and they have some cool other special inserts and stuff like that. So again, team to keep an eye on. Are they the best team? No. Are they the worst team? Also no. They're just kind of a good B tier team. I'd put them in the lower end of B tier though, personally. Then you have the Toronto Maple Leafs, a team that has a lot of upside because you can hit Austin Matthews cards, which are always generally pretty good. And they also have a pretty good out of 249 rookie patch auto in Michael Bunting. I know his hobby value has declined, but I still think he's a good player. And yes, he's not on the Leafs. And yes, he was technically a rookie in 2020-21, but hey, they added him for 21-22 as a rookie in some sets. So it's a little bit all over the place here, but I think they're still a strong team. You still have lots of like top end upside given they're elite players and just given that the Leafs have a pretty good following. So just a team to keep an eye on. Again, if you get them, you shouldn't be too upset because the absolute top end upside there is massive. And then finally, rounding out the B tiers, we have the Vegas Golden Knights. They are a team, again, that's kind of just in the upper like 10-15%. Like top 10, 15 teams for card percentage and hit percentage, and their checklist quality is actually pretty decent as well. The main rookie patch auto you're going to be looking for here is Logan Thompson. That being said, I do have a lot of time for Pavel Dorofeyev because I think he is a decent player and he's getting some looks there. So yeah, just another team to kind of keep an eye on. Into C tier, where it's again a bit of a mix of teams here. For the most part, these are all teams that are going to have, you know, middle of the road hit percentage and card percentage with some slight upside. Kind of gloss over the teams that have not really too much to talk about. But yeah, we'll get started with the Buffalo Sabres, where they have two rookie patch autos that I think could be valuable with Peterka and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. The Carolina Hurricanes, same thing as well. Their hit percentage and card percentage is a little bit lower than some of the other teams in this tier. However, I do think they have one of the best out of 249 rookie patch autos in Seth Jarvis. So that's kind of why they got bumped up from D tier to C tier, just because I think Jarvis is a really, really solid player. And I think his value should be pretty good compared to the rest of the crop. The Minnesota Wild don't have a ton of notable players, even though I like some of them, like Brandon Duhaime, Adam Beckman, Connor Dewar, but nothing really major to speak of here. They're just kind of a middle of the pack team, and same with the Nashville Predators, actually. Pretty middle of the pack team. They do have Philip Tomasino as a rookie, though, so just someone to keep an eye on. Again, he's going to be one of the good out of 249s. Next up are the New York Rangers, who are the definition of a mid-tier team. They don't have a ton of upside. They don't have a ton of downside. They're just kind of there. So the main rookie to keep your eye on here is Zach Jones. He's a rookie patch auto out of 249. I like him as a defenseman. He hasn't really grown or gotten the opportunity that I expected him to, but there's definitely some potential there. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are one of the boom or bust teams in the product. You're looking for Crosby, you're looking for Lemieux, you're looking for Malkin, you're looking for Yager in this kind of whenever you get the Penguins. However, it is worth noting that most of Crosby's stuff is updates from last year, which is, again, fine. That's typically how Crosby stuff is in the Cup, but it is live and it's not a redemption, which is also nice to see. Just on that note, though, they don't have as much of that high-end potential or as strong of a checklist compared to the Edmonton Oilers, which is kind of why they're in C tier, because there is a decent amount of risk there, as their hit percentage and card percentage is, again, around the same as the Oilers, just without the overall sheer quality that the Oilers have. Next up, we have the San Jose Sharks, who I have one of my favorite rookies on this team in William Eklund. I think he's really good. Unfortunately, he's only a rookie auto, but he does have an exquisite rookie patch auto, and it'll be numbered to 72, so it'll be a little bit more commonly available. I really like his game. I think he's actually one of the best rookies in this entire year, and I just someone to keep your eye on. I know the San Jose Sharks are kind of the laughingstock of the NHL right now, but he is a pretty solid player and definitely stands out on that team, and I have a lot of high hopes for him moving forward. The Canucks are also kind of just a mid-tier team. They're just mid in everything. They've got a mid rookie with Vasily Podkolzin. I don't think he's got too much high-end upside anymore, but I do still kind of like his ability to maybe be a top 9 forward at the NHL level, who will kind of endear himself to fans. So again, just kind of a mid-tier team. Speaking of another decent team, actually, the Washington Capitals. I'd put them at the top end of C tier because they have a decent rookie patch auto in Hendrix Lapierre. He hasn't grown as much as what I would have hoped for at this point, but you do obviously have some high-end hit potential with Ovechkin, so team to keep your eye on, and they're actually pretty high up in terms of the card percentage and hit percentage. They're just in C tier because you're less likely to get one of those high-end hits than some of the teams in B tier, and they don't have the quantity to make up for it. Finally, in C tier, we have the Winnipeg Jets, and they're a team, again, that's a little bit more difficult to judge, but two things I would point out here is that they have Cole Perfetti as an out of 249 rookie patch auto, and I quite like Cole Perfetti as a player. I think, again, he's one of the better out of 249s and someone to keep your eye on. And then they also have a bunch of Logan Stanley updates. I don't like Logan Stanley as a player, but he's still going to get some value, and you're still going to find his cards whenever you have them. So just a player to keep an eye on, but they actually rank decently in card percentage and hit percentage. So just keep your eye on them. They're kind of a team, again, I would put at the top end of C tier. Moving on to the D tier teams, we have the Arizona Coyotes, and they're pretty much just the definition of a D tier team. The only thing worth pointing out is they get all of the old school Winnipeg Jets cards, so you do have some actual like decent high-end hit potential here. But again, at the same point, there's not a ton of upside here either. Just like Chicago, actually. Chicago's kind of shocked me with how mid they are. Their checklist isn't super strong. You could bump them up into a low C tier, but I just don't put a ton of value in their vets. They don't sell super well. Like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, relative to some of the other league superstar, just don't have as much value as you would expect type of thing. And then you also have the Dallas Stars here. Again, their just overall checklist isn't super strong, but I will point out that they do have some Jason Robertson update rookie stuff from last year's The Cup, including his 1/1 shield. So that will be an absolutely insane hit, but at the same time, you're probably not going to hit as often with them as with any team in C tier, and your hits probably aren't going to be the ones that you're the most excited about. Moving on to the Philadelphia Flyers, they're kind of a team that has cards, they exist, but they don't really have that high-end hit potential, and Cam York is unfortunately just a base rookie out of 249 as per the checklist, so unfortunate there because I actually think he's a fairly solid defenseman and would have been nice to have as a rookie patch auto. And finally, wrapping up our D tier teams, we have the St. Louis Blues, who are just kind of not great. They do have Jake Neighbors as an out of 249 rookie patch auto, but he doesn't have a ton of upside, and they're just kind of a firm D tier team. Moving on to our 4 F tier teams, and we're going to start with the Calgary Flames just because I think they're the one that you could probably put into D tier. It's just looking through the checklist, there isn't a ton of overall top end potential and upside here. So I just don't think they're that great, and as a result, they're kind of in F tier. I do like Matthew Phillips as a player, but he just hasn't produced at the NHL level, so I think his time is kind of done there. So yeah, moving on to what, in my opinion, is the third worst team in the product in the Columbus Blue Jackets. They do have one of the better rookies in Cole Sillinger as a rookie auto out of 249, but he's not a rookie patch auto. And again, he just hasn't quite produced at the level that you'd hope he would have produced. So they don't have a ton of card quantity, they don't have a ton of hit quantity, and they don't have quality. So they're just a sheer F team. In my opinion, the worst team in the product is the New York Islanders. They really have nothing to write home about. They have the worst hit percentage in the product, and their checklist quality is honestly really bad. So moving on to the Seattle Kraken, who I think are probably the second worst team in the entire product. But that being said, it is their first year in the Cup, and you will get some sick Seattle patches. It is worth kind of remembering that because they'll probably go for a little bit more than your average teams. But yeah, given that they haven't performed super well this year either, it's going to be kind of just in the F tier for me. And here is the giant spreadsheet that I make every single year for the Cup. And I try to do this for most of the products, especially when I'm doing team pricing for group breaks or just kind of seeing if there's any teams that are particularly bad in the product. As you can see, you kind of go through left to right, see what teams are hitting well, see what teams have patch autos, see what teams have rookies, see what teams have cards in the base set, things like that. If you do have any questions about what a team's checklist looks like, please let me know in the comment section below. I can filter it and kind of do my best to try and figure out a way to send you a picture of it or something like that. But Cardboard Connection, Beckett will both have you covered in terms of their overall team checklist. It's just if you want like a random fun fact. Like, for example, that there's 1,341 of ones in the product. So yeah, anyways, this is kind of what I use to base all of the tiers off of, along with scrolling through each checklist and going through the quantity. So feel free to use this if you're, looking to get into breaks. We will be having some cup breaks ourselves, eventually posted this upcoming week once we have the product in hand. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Again, a little bit different. Let me know your thoughts on it if you want to see more of these types of videos for different types of products. And yeah, take care, have a good weekend, and I will see you next week when we open up a tin of the cup.